idea of gratitude, is
Yeah.
that a key teaching of Jainism, and is that related to gladly accepting something?
I think so gratitude is a byproduct. Like all these emotions that we say, we would say they're byproducts of, in my opinion, three fundamental teachings. And I think I said this to before. And the three words in Sanskrit. So I'll say it in Sanskrit, then I'll translate them. It's ahimsa, anagatvad, and aparigraha. So aparigraha is the idea of non-possessiveness. So the idea that nothing is, the whole idea of impermanence, like what is actually yours. And obviously in the Eastern world, consciousness is the base level of reality. And that's who you actually are, right? Your soul, your atma. So if you are that, then nothing else is you apart from that. Like even this body is borrowed, because when you die, the body doesn't come wherever you go, right? So therefore that is impermanent too. So that's detachment. Then anagatvad is multi-dimensional truth. So for example, I know for the sake of the video, like I'm putting my hand up and you're seeing the front of my hand, right?
Yeah.
So but I'm seeing the back of my hand. So from that small example, you are true and I am true. So truth is multi-dimensional, and the only way we can see reality is subjectively. Like objective truth, I still haven't found it yet. Even
Yeah.
science is a subjective way of seeing that truth.
Okay, so my question, that is
Go for
something
it.
I struck, because I completely agree with you that that all truth is subjective, but then what would say Buddha
Yeah.
say about Buddhism? Would he say his teachings are objectively true? Because how can you say like everything is subjective, because
Yeah.
that in itself is an objective teaching,
Yes.
if you know what I mean? Yeah.
Correct. So the only objective truth is that every truth is subjective. That's what the paradox
Okay.
lies, right?
Okay.
So the way the Buddha, so again, like all Eastern tradition is based on experience. Like the path
Yeah.
of yoga, there's four different paths depending on your personality traits. So the route to the top is subjective, but the fact that the top is objective, right? Like the
Okay.
fact the mountain
Yeah.
has a peak is objective,
Yeah.
but the route there is completely subjective. That depends on your own experience. But when you experience that level of consciousness and that level of your atma, what we will say is that's when you are now in objective truth. Because at that level, truth becomes objective. But at the moment
Okay.
where we are in, just me and you in this world, truth is subjective.
Yeah.
And that's based on so many different things, like the language we speak, the nationalities we're
Yeah.
from. So yeah, sorry. So that's
Yeah.
Anekantwad. And but Anekantwad with Anekantwad, you get ahimsa, which is what everybody knows to be non-violence. But I like to translate it as unrelenting compassion, because non-violence can be seen as passive. So the example that I give is if you see a bumblebee that's stuck in a bottle, all right, and the cap is closed. Like, am I being violent to the bumblebee? I'm not doing anything to the bumblebee. I'm not being violent to it. So I can be non-violent. But ahimsa is opening the bottle and letting the bee free. So it's active and not passive.
Okay.
So that is the
Okay.
three fundamentals of Jainism. There's also four, which is awareness as well. But those three or four things, that leads to all your other gratitude, your acceptance, your karma. The karma theory comes as a different kind of
Okay.
theory, but um,
Okay.
all
So
my
yes,
truths
gratitude
come
is the
from there.
byproduct.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And also it's that this idea of like, so Mahavira, which is our 24th Tirthankar. So Mahavira is probably who all Jains around the world currently look up to. It's our, I'm going to use the word prophet or God. It's our enlightened being, right? And he said like
Yeah.
silence is the language of God. God, not the Abrahamic version.
What's the language of God? Sorry,
Silence.
silence. Okay. Yeah.
Silence. So the idea of a deep silence is really embedded in Eastern culture. That's your meditations, your introspections, your really your root within.
Yeah.
And we have so much noise, and our mind is constantly fluctuating. And I know from your experience of Vipassana, you can actually speak on this. Like how
Yeah.
fluctuating
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mind is, and that silence
Yeah.
is one of the most profoundest roots to enlightenment. So
Yeah,
that's a
definitely.
quick crash
That's
course in
definitely something I
Jainism.
could.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.